thank the gentlelady. Chair now recognizes Mr. Carter for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for allowing me to wave onto this committee, the subcommittee, and thank all of the panelists for being here as well. Um, Commissioner Callis, I'm a pharmacist, a healthcare professional, but even more importantly, I'm a father and a grandfather, and we have 6 grandchildren. They're all over the country, and Charlottesville, Virginia, New Orleans, Atlanta, and this hits home literally. I mean, my youngest granddaughter is 6 months old and she's on infant formula. We have a family text chain that we send around, and my wife had sent a picture of the infant formula to everyone all across the country. If you see any of this, buy it. We need it. We need it for Mary Emma. That's how real this is, and I know you recognize that, but I just want to drive home the point that this is impacting all of us. And it just appears that the administration really didn't pay any attention to this until it hit the media. I mean, this is granted that what happened in Michigan with the plant was crippling, but at the same time, this has been building up for a while. So I'm disappointed in the lag and in the time that it took to respond to this. Now, having said that, I will say that I've always believed it's never too late to do the right thing. And when the president did invoke the Defense Production Act, that was a good thing. As I understand it, that's going to speed up the manufacturing of U.S.-made infant formula, and it would require the suppliers to send the necessary resources to the infant formula suppliers before other customers who have requested those. What specifically do you identify those resources, Commissioner, or in the Defense Production Act? Are those certain resources identified in order to make sure that we have that capacity and make sure that they are getting to where we need them to be? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it mutes and unmutes when I don't touch it. But anyway, I was going to say, you're from Georgia, from South Carolina. I appreciate the accent and the chance to wear a seersucker suit coming up in the summer. But having said that, you're also a pharmacist. You know the complexity of in a formula, there are 30 constituents that have to be there in the right amount. So there's constant communication with the manufacturers about what they need. I'd like to ask Dr. Main to make a comment about the special issues related to Ukraine, which is an example of the kind of thing that we're having to deal with infant formula.
Thank you. And yes, Congressman Carter, what we've seen is first the strain of the COVID-19 pandemic, then the strain of the recall, and now we've got the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And one of the things that we know is the Ukraine region is one of the world's biggest exporters of products like sunflower oil. Sunflower oil is used as an ingredient in many food products, including infant formula. And so we have been working with the manufacturers, should they be unable to maintain their supply of sunflower oil, what they would replace it with, and make sure that that would meet the nutritional requirements for infant formula. So it has been a constant dialogue with the manufacturers. What do they need, and how can we help make sure that they get what they need to make these products as the utmost priority?
Well, I appreciate knowing that. That's a great explanation, and I accept that explanation. And hopefully, it's going to result in more U.S.-made product as soon as possible. Because, as I say, this is an immediate problem. Let me ask you this now: we're not going to inadvertently impact other areas or other production of things that are needed with these products by invoking this Defense Production Act, are we?
Well, I'm going to ask Dr. Main to also comment again, but first, let me just say it's entirely possible, which is why it's critical for everyone to realize the complexity of the supply chain group that's been working across government ever since the start of the pandemic. It's what you call the cheap suit phenomenon. You fix one thing and then the other thing gets out of whack. That has to be looked at. Dr. Main, is there anything that comes to mind about that?
Yes, and we've considered that. Things like sunflower oil provides essential fatty acids that we need in infant formulas, and we want it to go that, prioritize it there. It's also used in other products like snack foods, as an example, where they could replace other oils that would work from a technical functional point, but are not there as a sole source of nutrition. So the prioritization is done based upon the nutritional priority of these products.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your efforts in this. Madam Chair, again, thank you for allowing me to wave on, and I'll yield back.
Thank you so much,